Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and I finally did it. I finally got top 1% in King of the Court. I haven't played this mode in a couple of months, and when they fixed the glitch where you can disconnect people, and when they changed the rewards to a Galaxy Opal, I thought, hey, maybe I should try it. So I did, and I got top 1%. As you can see, here's a screenshot of me being top 6 on the leaderboards. Someone told me I moved down to top 10, but I didn't get a picture of that. I'm gonna show y'all what Opal I got at the end of this video, but first, I'm gonna go over how I managed to get top 1% and, you know, just some tips to help y'all out if y'all ever want to play this game mode. So yeah, so this is the team that I went out to get top 1%. Magic Johnson, Ron Artest, Michael Beasley, Tim Duncan, Victor Wembanyama, Austin Reaves, Bilal Coulibaly, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Anthony Davis, and D-Rob. Michael Beasley was the MVP. Straight up, he was. If y'all don't have this card, y'all need to get this card. I gave him legend handles for days, and he carried me. His release is way too fast. He's too good. You got to get him. But, oh, also Austin Reaves. You got to get Austin Reaves. His release is also really fast. You got to go get him. I just surrounded Beasley with defense. You know, Magic Johnson, 6'9" point guard, really good defense. Ron Artest was my main defender because he has 99, like, everything on defense. He's really good and still underrated. And off the bench, I ran defense around Austin Reaves. As you can see, Giannis at the 3 is just so damn good. But anyways, if you're looking to get top 1%, here are some things that you need to do with your lineup. Before we get into anything, let's talk about the height you need to run at each position. So for point guards, they got to be 6'5" or above, with the exception to Gary Payton. At 6'5", you get standing dunk animations. The reason why I say Gary Payton is an exception is because his release is so fast, and if you're good at 300 or dribbling, then Gary Payton is the guy for you. Other than that, I don't want to see no Steph Curry or even a Dwayne Wade. You gotta run a guy that's 6'5" or above for that standing dunk animations. For the shooting guards, 6'6" or above. If they're 6'5", they're most likely able to play the point guard position, so go play them there. For small forwards, in my opinion, it's 6'8" and above. I just think 6'7" is kind of short for small forward at this point in the game, especially when you got Giannis and stuff there. You know, I just think you're better off running a guy like Rudy Gay there or a LeBron there instead of a guy like Kawhi, because again, you can run Kawhi at the 2. For power forwards, it doesn't really matter as much, but I'd still recommend having them 6'10" or above. I just think 6'9" is kind of short for a power forward, especially rebounding wise, and centers, we'll get into that eventually. So now that you got the height down, we gotta talk about what you need on the court. So the most important thing you need is someone you can score with. Preferably someone with good dribbling and a fast jump shot, like a Gary Payton, a Michael Beasley, Jason Richardson, someone like that, to where they're a real threat from the perimeter, where your opponent can make as little mistakes on defense as possible. And around that player, you need defense. But more importantly, you need a pure lock. So on my starting lineup, my lock was Ron Artest, and off the bench, it was Giannis Antetokounmpo. You want a lock to where they can consistently defend your opponent's primary scorer, so they score as little as possible, if that makes sense. And after that, you need someone who can also get you a bucket if necessary. So let's say Michael Beasley isn't working out, or let's say Austin Reaves isn't working out. You gotta have someone that can get you a bucket if needed. So in my starting lineup, that backup option was either Magic Johnson or Victor Wembanyama. Magic Johnson, because he's just so fast, he can get to the basket literally anytime he wants. And Victor Wembanyama, we'll get to him eventually, but obviously he'll be able to get me a bucket. For your power forwards, it doesn't matter as much. You just gotta make sure they play defense and you're able to green with them. That's the only thing that matters with them. because in my opinion, 99% of people use power forwards as 3-and-D players. They're never really gonna dribble the ball or do anything crazy. They're just there to shoot threes or set screens. That's it. If your power forward can do that, play defense really well, then you got a good power forward. Now we gotta talk about centers. Victor Wembanyama is the single most important card in this game. And you might be saying, oh Noah, what about 100 overall Kristaps Porzingis? You're never going to see this Porzingis. I haven't played against him one time. I played Victor Wembanyama almost every game of King of the Court. Whether it is this Galaxy Opal or this Pink Diamond, if you do not have him, you are at a severe disadvantage. Unless if you're like Splashedition or something, but you're not Splashedition. Anyways, you might be saying, Noah, but he's like a million MT. I can't afford him. Well, you need to find a way to get him because if you don't have him, you're getting cooked by Wembanyama. If you do not have Wembanyama, you will lose because you don't have Wembanyama. And that is the best advice I can give you is buy Victor Wembanyama. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how great you are. You need Wembanyama. However, there are some cards that can contain Wembanyama, like a Will Chamberlain or a Kareem or a Pink Diamond Porzingis, but they're not. It's not enough. All right, it's not enough. You need Wembanyama. So now we can talk about actually playing the game. So first of all, green your shots. If you don't green your shots, you lose the game. Also, figure out what your opponent likes doing. If your opponent likes to 3-hunt, you gotta figure out what his dribble patterns are. If your opponent likes to drive to the basket, you gotta adjust to that, things like that. And the more you figure out your opponent, the easier it gets to read and predict what they are about to do. And when you figure that out, you can really get into your opponent's head. Because if you make them uncomfortable and counter what they like doing the most, they start getting really frustrated. And that leads me to my second point. Keep your cool. This game has its flaws. I know. Alright? But you gotta keep your cool. I know it's frustrating when your opponent gets 3 offensive rebounds in a row. But there's nothing you can do about that. I know it's frustrating when they call a shooting foul when it probably shouldn't have been a shooting foul. But there's nothing you can do about it. And at the end of the day, it will all even out eventually. The algo evens out. So the only thing that should really matter if you keep your cool, I know it might be frustrating that you won't get a quit early on, but skill will prevail. Trust me, it will. I know people are like, oh, I'm getting screwed over, man. That's why I lost. I guarantee you, they probably got really frustrated and started playing bad. Like, I remember I used to get super frustrated and then I would start missing my shots and stuff. And I'm not saying, oh, just suppress your emotions. Obviously, you can get upset, but don't go too crazy. And also, hold yourself accountable for doing something bad. So let's say you make a bad rotation. You're like, oh, that's my fault. Don't blame the AI. Don't blame the game. Blame yourself when you know you messed up so your mind will remember to not do that again. What else? For the first couple of hours, that's when a lot of the garbage cans play. You know, that's when you really got to take advantage of things. So you got to get up by 20. You got to get up by 20, 30, things like that. You want to make sure your opponent quits the game. Because the more quits you get, the more points you get. And obviously, that's really important if you're getting top 1%. The further you go in King of the Court, you will play the same people multiple times. Like, I matched up against the same person like 3 times. And I matched up against this person 2 times in a row. This is the first game of the 2. If you win against someone and you play them again right after, do not get cocky. Do not get cocky. Alright, because if you get cocky, that's when you start doing dumb stuff. And then if you get too cocky, then you're not fully focused. You got to take them seriously, because once you let that foot off the gas, that's when they could come out attacking, and you do not want to lose. I'm telling you, you do not want to lose. I lost one game today. One game today. If you lose twice, you're out. If you lose twice, you're not getting top 1%. Straight up, you're not. But also, the final piece of advice that I can give you is try not to, like, make your opponent pissed off. Obviously, your opponent might get pissed off if they start losing, yada, yada, yada. I get it. But do not antagonize them. Do not start taunting them, or do not start pause cheesing them. I promise you, it's not worth it. No matter how badly you want to laugh at your opponent if you're up by 20, do not do it, because that will increase their chances of stalling you, and you do not want to get stalled. And I got stalled multiple times today just because people were mad, but you do not want to increase the chances of you getting stalled, because you need to get through games as fast as possible. So if you have something to say to your opponent, just leave it be, man. I promise you, it goes a long way. But yeah, that's everything I can give you. And now here's my reaction to what I got from King of the Court. All right, top 1% Opal. That's what everyone has been waiting for. So let's see what we get right now. That is troll. That is, oh. I already have an Anthony. You know what? I'll just take it. I'll take the better Anthony Davis. As you can see, I got Anthony Davis, which kind of sucks because I have another Anthony Davis, and they're basically the same card, but this one comes with 4 extra Hall of Fame badges and a 4-inch longer wingspan, so I guess I will take it. It's not the greatest, though. I can exchange the other Anthony Davis for 2 Hall of Fame badges, so it's not the worst thing in the world. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe, and bye.